Welcome to Brothers-In-Flaw Sports. I'm your host, Normie, and we have our other host over here, Cunyato. Santana is running a little behind, but he will be here shortly. He's got dad duty, so he's a little busy.
So solo parenting this evening, so yeah, got his hands full for a bit.
Yep. So
But
Cunyato, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain. Freshly showered. You guys can actually see the hair today. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually freshly showered and freshly shaved.
I I see that. That's a nice clean shave there. I haven't done that probably since your wedding.
And I use the trimmers. I can't tell you the last time I shaved with an actual razor. Like it's been years. I
Oh,
always do the I always do the clippers, and that way no razor burn, no itchiness, nothing. Just
if I'm
and
gonna take it all the way down, I do the clippers first and then straight razor. But once again, I think I've done that maybe 5 times in my entire life, and the last time being your wedding.
yeah, yeah. Because normally I'm just lazy. I don't like trimming it. Like to me, if I'm gonna do something with it, I'm gonna take it all off. I have gotten to where I will kind of trim the mustache, so I'm not eating it. But at this point, at right now, I was just like, no, I'm not trimming it. I'm just gonna shave it all off. Spend
Sometimes
about the
that's
same amount
easier.
of time.
Yeah,
Like I'll just go ahead and do it.
I uh, I did actually today after my shower. I got it like you're talking about, just
Yeah, the
off
the
off
little
my upper lip, so I'm not eating
say
it.
every time you take a drink or eat something, you're not
Yeah,
having to immediately wipe it off. Like, yeah. Oh man. But we do have a pretty good show, especially if when Santana gets on here, because he is definitely our draft expert.
yeah,
But
he's
we got
he's
to
gung ho.
oh yeah, he does his damn homework. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He is ADD when it comes to like the NFL draft and prospects and things like that.
Oh yeah, he's been watching film and reading every article he can get his hands on about many of these draft prospects. Specifically like your big names, and then what will
Yeah,
possibly
just
entertain some of our more local viewers, some homegrown boys.
yeah, and also some sleepers and
Yep.
just late draft surprise or possible late draft surprises, things like that. So he's all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But first off, we got the UFL.
At the UFL, who I think for the time that we've been doing the show, this year is the first live sports event attended by one of our hosts,
Yeah,
Normie
I
himself.
yep. I went to the Stallions game the other night. It was pretty fun. I mean, they the defense is so much better than what it was last year, and I would even say even year one, because year one we had a pretty good defense, but man, 8 sacks, uh, one towards the end of the game, like basically a bull rush through an offensive lineman, that Jonathan Allen kind of reaching over the offensive lineman, grabbing the
Mm,
quarterback, like, and that's no scrub offensive lineman. If you see that replay, that guy is a two-time all USFL offensive lineman. Like that's not some scrub. That's not some or some old guy that is just trying to still play football. Like that dude is legit, and our defensive lineman made him just look awful. Like the
well,
replays of it are bad, or bad for him.
my takeaway from watching a lot of the specifically the Stallions games, and I've watched here and there for some of the other games. I need to brush up on a lot more than what I have done so far, but there are a lot of Stallions out there that are trying their damnedest to go get on a roster.
They are. All right. Here he is, Santana, at the bottom
I'm
where
a key.
he's best.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, bud. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Sorry for the delay.
Oh no, you're fine. We totally understand.
Completely understand. We already let the audience know that you're on single dad duty this evening, and we all understand that that'll keep your hands full.
Oh yeah.
Single in the way that the wife is busy, not that she left
No,
for good. Though I'm never.
No.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
never.
she hadn't come back yet, so
She hadn't come back yet, so there.
What did she go buy? Milk and cigarettes?
Oh shit! Oh no! I thought for sure I've had that one in my back pocket, so I thought for sure that I would catch it if somebody used it on me.
Sometimes it's like what's the Spanish Inquisition? Nobody expects it.
You don't know until you know, and then you don't want to know.
Yep.
All right, catch me up. Where we at?
We were just talking about the UFL, just kind of doing a small little recap of it.
Yeah, how dominant the Stallions defense was, and they were.
And the offense looked pretty damn good too. Adrian Martinez, like passing the ball,
was insane.
Yes, he is looking a lot better passing the ball. Those first 2 weeks, throwing picks in the end zone, which we all know throwing a pick in the end zone is bad, right, Santana?
If look, I know that we're all kind of amateur at this, but if I could pick out something that wasn't good, I would say throwing interceptions in the end zone is not good.
Yep. Don't want that.
But his stat line was pretty nuts. Have you seen this, Normie? Like his
327 yards.
He was 18 of 28 for 334, and 2 touchdowns passing. He also led the team in rushing, 5 attempts, 44 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that's a hell of a game. I mean, so basically 400 total yards of offense and 3 touchdowns and no turnovers.
Yep.
His just overall, we may have talked about this already, so forgive me if we have, but his overall evolution as a player from the time of his time at Nebraska to the time at K-State was already so eye-popping to me, because I watched him at Nebraska for so long just have zero ability to throw the football, really be, he comes into college football kind of highly rated and then didn't really do much at Nebraska, has a great finish off of his career at K-State, and so it's not overly shocking that he's continuing to build and evolve his game, and good for him.
How much of that do you think is on Scott Frost kind of throwing him out, to the Wolves his freshman year?
Some, I'm sure, and how much more of that is just getting out from under that whole situation.
It's funny. It leads right into a question that I've been kind of pondering with Skip Holt's success in the UFL. Does he start to get looks from, collegiately? He's only been at programs that it's hard to win at anyways. And he's had some decent success at some of these programs, but the NFL or like a pro league like he's in right now, like it's a whole different ball game. Like, do people start to take a look at this? I mean, he's done nothing but win.
Yeah. I know some Power 5 schools have reached out the past couple of years because he's talked about that, but he's turned them down and said he wants to coach the Stallions. And
well, it's easy to say right now with what's going on in college football, hey, I'm not interested in what's going on in college football. But if Dallas Cowboys come calling, what are you? I mean, I know what I would say. I know what I would say. Dallas
Cowboys.
Yeah, I would say go fuck yourself. But as far as somebody who's
go burn that stadium down and get rid of the entire team.
The only reason I would accept
then I'll accept the job.
I would only accept the job to burn it down from the inside. Like, I would sacrifice my career to end that program. But
Ron Swanson take down the beast from the belly within.
But yeah, thing is, I don't know how his offense would translate to the NFL because it is closer to a college offense. So
this day and age, better than ever before, as far as what concepts would translate.
Yeah, and I don't know. He just seems happy. Like he's out of the college game. He doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about transfer portal, NIL crap. But he's also not dealing with the prima donnas of the NFL and also just the absolute stress of the NFL. I mean, you look at a guy like Dan Campbell, like that dude seems like he's on the verge of a heart attack just at a press conference.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that would be him, like just on a couch, like
yeah,
if we were just playing video games with him or something.
So, some of the stories
with
that I've
red
heard
face
from
and everything.
former players about him, that guy's a hard charger, apparently. Like, it just a loose story. This is paraphrasing how I heard it, but you know, after a game, everybody can go out and like party, and like team bus comes and gets you at 2. You need to be by like at the airport, packed, ready to go by 8. Team bus comes. He waves them off because he's made friends at whatever bar they're at. It's like, I'll figure it out. And like 8 o'clock on the dot, like they are like basically last calling for the team plane. Campbell comes up with his bag on, like I think he was smoking a heater. Like just like it's like that with that he's I think he gets after it in every like avenue of life. He's gonna go as hard as he can.
Yeah. I mean, he takes that, that 110% mentality and applies it towards everything.
And also, that story is completely false. I apologize, Dan Campbell, if you ever watched this.
Oh,
And
yeah. I
if
mean,
you
I'm
have a
sure
different
he's
take on
watching.
it, I'd love to know.
Not if, it's when he watches this.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. Not trying to slander anybody. It's just a story that I'd heard on some other program that you guys shouldn't be watching because you should be watching us
Exactly.
or listening, however you do it.
But yeah, going back to Skip, like I said, I think he's just happy where he's at. I mean, I'm not sure how much money he's making. I could probably look it up, but I know he's probably made a bunch of money as it is, and I think he's just happy with what he does. It's that, like I've always thought of the USFL, like it's that in between, like the game on the field is more seems closer to college, but it's also you got that that professional football kind of feel with, these guys probably ain't going to, or they may not come back the next year, or they may move on. Like, it's not, oh, this guy's coming in as a freshman and possibly going to play till he graduates or declares early for the draft. But I think he's just happy.
Well, and there's got to be something to it, especially with the current status of college football and the NFL, where a lot of people aren't hungry. It's more about the bottom dollar.
Yes.
Whereas, like in this league, they are like you are coaching the hungriest people probably in football right now. Like all they want is a shot to go to that next level, to start looking for their bottom dollar.
Mm-hmm.
All they want is the shot. So you are coaching, like it's not enter the transfer portal to see if either my current school gives me more money or another school can offer me more money or something, like, because like those, a lot of the star players at the collegiate level now can do that, and that's fine. I don't care. It's working within the system. And me and Santana were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, go ahead, open it up. Like, let it be the complete wildest of the Wests, because then eventually the powers that be will start to put the restrictions that needed to be there in place if the useless NCAA organization had done their due diligence 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But in the UFL, you've got good solid contracts, good system, enough structure to where everybody can play within it and knows what's expected. However, the play on the field is these guys probably last shot, or they can make a career doing this. Either way, they are passionate football players. And I think that there's something to be said that Skip Holtz might be drawn to something like that too.
Yeah. And just the fun of it. I mean, think about, like, how many NFL games do one team score 20 points in the fourth quarter to come from behind and win?
Well, I've watched a lot of Chiefs.
I mean, but that's like a college thing. Usually NFL team gets up pretty big, and that's usually about it. But
I don't know. Depends on what NFC Championship game you're watching.
this is true. This is
It
very
depends
true.
on what Super Bowl you're watching, Falcons fans.
What the fuck was
Yeah.
that, Kenyatta?
But that was a half. That was 2 quarters.
That was Super
Plus, in a
Bowl.
game where, like, up until 5 minutes in each half, on an incomplete pass or a run out of bounds, the clock starts up again. Like, so you have fewer possessions, and I don't know. It's just, to me, there's more opportunity for that, and that just makes it more fun. And it, like I said, it just reminds me of college.
I agree. I've really fallen in love with the like, this is the first year I've like really tried to tune in as much as I can, and the nuance of the rules I enjoy. That's different from college and NFL. And once again, just, you don't see players take plays off at that level right now. I mean, they might not be the best at their position, but damn it, they're trying.
Yep. Or you'll have somebody like Scooby Wright, Frank Gidna at Michigan, that's like they're in on every single tackle. Like, they're dudes in this league, but they never just made it, for some reason, just never like kind of
Well,
got on in the NFL. Like,
somebody like, sorry, Normie, not to interrupt you, but just to pile on what you're saying, somebody like Scooby Wright, undersized, doesn't really have the athleticism to fit somewhere in the NFL, but has just a nose for the football and just a really, really good freaking football player. Like, this is the league for you,
Yeah.
And then it does become very specifically about the passion for the game and just wanting to have all, we talk, I wrote something recently about the draft coming up, and one of the things that I put in there is about these guys work from the moment that they decide they want to play football in this manner. They work their entire lives to just hopefully hear their names called. And Scooby Wright was somebody who, I may be mistaken, but I think he was a late round pick out of Arizona and had a chance to bump around. But like, if you can bump around or go play and start and have a, successful career at another pro level, like, why wouldn't you? It becomes about the love of the game. We talk on here all the time about AJ McCarron and what he does. I mean, he could be probably paid significantly more to be a backup in the NFL and a decent backup, but he chooses, for the sake of his kids watching him play, to play for the Battlehawks. So it is more of a college feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. When you got this is special teams. I don't know how many people care about kicking, but you got a budding star, an old Jake Bates.
Yeah. Well,
He's already hit a.
You got the Brandon Aubrey from last year.
Yeah.
Who ended up making the Pro Bowl.
He went head to head with Tucker in the Pro Bowl competitions. I mean,
it does seem to be definitely, if nothing else, a way for kickers specifically to go showcase their talents.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Bates is in LA next year, because we were shaky at best for a lot of the season.
I don't know. Chargers have some good kicking from time to time.
Yeah, they do.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Hey, go ahead, Normie.
I was gonna say, for those that don't know, Gunyato is a huge Rams fan.
Huge Chargers fan. Big Chargers fan.
I hate that they took our city right as we were taking it. I hope they pay rent to use our friggin' stadium. Whole $5 billion that our owner paid. Chargers.
Hey, don't talk about Jim Harbaugh's team. You wanted him as your coach, so you got him.
You got him. That's what you wanted.
I actually think that that's going to work out really well for them. I really do. Like, I mean, he has never been a loser anywhere he's been. I mean, I think that was a really good move by them. And you've lost a lot of your talent on the outside. Obviously, they're going to have to hammer the draft. Also, do you want to transition into the draft? Do you want to keep doing UFL? Because we can use this to transition into the draft. But obviously, they got to hammer wide receiver, because they lost Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler. So they've got work to do at the major skill positions. But once again, with Herbert helming and the pieces they still have on defense, and their offensive line isn't terrible, I think.
Well, they just brought in somebody at running back too, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't think of who it was.
It was somebody big. Hold on.
I know they
Gus
were in the mark.
Edwards
Gus
and
Edwards.
and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, that's the one that I
Yeah.
saw that they literally did. Like it broke right before the show on my phone, anyways. That they signed J.K. Dobbins, and so they're just reuniting all Dobbins and Edwards.
Well, and didn't he hire Greg Roman? as
Yeah,
the
yeah, he
offense
did. So
coordinator?
that makes sense. Like guy
Yeah,
who has
bringing
experience, yeah, with both of those guys, bringing a little lightning, a little thunder. Both can do both. I think Dobbins, if he can stay healthy, actually has like very, maybe not superstar potential, but a lot of high end potential.
staying power for sure.
Yeah, that's yeah. But it just he hasn't seemed so far to like to just piece it all together, string it all together. But there are games where I've watched him, even at the NFL level, where it's like, damn, that guy is capable of taking over. So we'll see. And once again, Harbaugh, he immediately revived San Fran's program. He made Stanford, which is basically the Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt of the former Pac-12, and made them dominant. Michigan won a national championship at a program that had been not left for dead, but like
lying dormant,
and then brought them back to life. He's just he seems to be successful everywhere he goes. So I think it was a really good hire by the Chargers.
He's got a really good track.
Oh no! Just like now, it just depends on the draft. That's it.
He's got a really good track record with quarterbacks, and this is maybe his most established quarterback that he's getting to start with.
Yeah, I mean that's.
So I agree with they need to obviously upgrade the receiver room. But the Chargers haven't dealt with a lot of issues outside of the injury bug for maybe as long as I've been alive. Like whether it's Phillip Rivers led or Herbert led or whoever's pulling this trigger down there, it's injuries are an issue. I don't think they are bereft of talent. I think that they are
for the second half.
Yeah, early on. I mean, we talk all the time about what Keenan Allen's career would be if he could have stayed healthy for either half of the season. I mean, he's considered one of the better receivers in the league, and he hardly plays football this day and age. So
yeah.
So I think it'll come down to what happens in the draft for them, what they can do.
Well, they got the 5th overall pick, so they should be able to get something. Our natural light plug. Yeah.
We'll get a sponsor this one day.
Look at this. Can y'all see this? The light's bad. It says Hester and Lawley.
Hester and Lawley LLC.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Oh, speaking of a sponsor.
To me, Michaela Hester.
Oh, but it writes well.
To me, Michaela Hester.
Hey, Michaela.
They say hey.
Love you.
Oh. Okay. Well, they're also mad about you not giving me that pin. They're pretty mad about it.
We have no opinion on that.
Yeah.
It writes good though. It's got.
Don't you put that evil on me.
Oh, a stylus too?
Yeah.
Oh, Kenyatta, we snazzy. Look at these pins. You want to close that? You want me to close that? Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Yay, sponsorship.
Yay, sponsorship. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So
the Birmingham area that needs any lawn fence decking needs.
Need love will travel. We don't necessarily need them to be in the Birmingham area.
That is true.
We just need
travel.
Lawn fence and decking.
Yeah. Hester and Lawley, basically outdoor general contractors. Hester and Lawley LLC.
That sounds really professional. That sounds really professional. Yeah. Good job.
I need to think of a a script for y'all. Hester and Lolly LLC. For all your fence, decking, and lawn needs. Call now.
I mean, that was it. That was it right there. Just all right. We're gonna go to a commercial break real quick. We'll be right back. Hit it, Sean.
Now we just need one of those snazzy like J.G. Wentworth jingles.
Is Cody's not listening to us. He's dealing with his own thing, I guess. But
Yeah.
we'll get a jingle. We'll get a jingle from old Cody. Talk about other Cody Howell Project, also a sponsor of the show.
Of course, yes. If you guys haven't seen the Cody Howell Project, tune in. He plays local around here, and you won't be disappointed. And generally, everywhere he plays serves cold beer. So even if you are disappointed, have a cold beer.
Not just warm beer, cold beer. And it's not cold beer; it's cold beer.
Cold beer.
Preferably natural light.
Well, I don't think he plays a lot of.
Bring your own.
I mean, you already have enough before you go. You can get you one or two Yinglings while you're there.
Shit! Now we got to start tagging them in the
them and PBR and.
If we want to get into trying to fish us a beer sponsor, the list is going to get pretty long.
Yeah, I mean they are fighting for being the sponsor of the show.
I like them
knocking the door down.
They are knocking doors down, all three of our doors. Phones always blowing up, like, hey, I got this beer. No.
No, we got to pick the right one. And we know which one the right one is.
I'm just saying, like, if we're a show built out of honesty and loyalty, and if honestly I can say what has been the most loyal to me as a beer goes, it's nice, cool, refreshing, natural light.
If you don't drink natural light, fuck you.
Oh man,
I just need to know who I need to talk to. I mean, we're on like, what week is this as far as shows go that they have gotten a tag, and I've received no response. I thought they would be just charging down. Like, these guys are brilliant sports commentators. Let's get them in, especially here in the Birmingham area.
Have you tried Four Loko? I mean,
yeah, and that's why I will not tag them in unless they're from the same company as Natural Light, in which case
I doubt it. Four Loko.
Quattro crazy.
I have seen, luckily never been a part of, but have seen so many messy nights after Four Loko nights.
I mean, it was back in the day when we were in college, like you could get a 4-pack of Tall Boy
with alcohol.
Well, it had caffeine in it, but you could get a 4-pack of Tall Boy when it's 8% alcohol or like 10% or something. But a 4-pack of Tall Boys was like what, $3-4?
Yeah.
Do you like Monsters? No, not really. Do you like Monsters with alcohol? I don't know. I guess try Four Loko.
Drunk enough to embarrass yourself, but not tired enough to where your body can take over and shut down. So your blackout lasts all night. So the stories you hear the next day, you will regret.
I think Four
Loko. That's
their
their tag. That's their
Four Loko. Your blackout last all night is the perfect tag, or at least the old. I guess they don't do the same.
No, I think they had to take anymore.
They had to take the caffeine.
People were throwing up and going to the hospital for that shit. Like it was a little too much. It's not a winning combo.
It's not like some cocktail either. It's just you just go to the gas station and get cocaine alcohol.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna make yourself vodka and Red Bulls or something. You're either sitting at a bar, so you got to wait on it, or you're making them yourself. You're having to make them. Crack a top of a Monster. Like, man, I'm not quite drunk yet. Not after 1, not after 2, not after 3, after 4. Now, not only am I hammered drunk, I am so very awake. But I won't remember any of this.
Yep. I'm seeing color. I'm hearing colors. My mouth is sweating.
Tasting sound.
Yeah.
I'm tasting sound.
It tastes like battery acid.
I've been able to walk through the walls. Got the flash ability to vibrate through
The
walls.
vibrate
right
through
now.
walls, yeah. But anyway, back to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, Cunyata's favorite team. They do have an opportunity early, the 5th overall pick. I've heard that if Junior is still there, that they're going to go for him. But
I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a great pick, and I think he's still most people's consensus number one as far as the wide receiver goes.
I've heard him as the number one pick or number one prospect for a lot of guys too. Just
and
overall.
even before this collegiate year started and then finished, thumbs up, guys, and hit that subscribe.
Smash it. Smash the like button.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Mm.
But I think Santana and I kind of align on as good and amazing as Marvin Harrison Jr. is. I think that it's kind of 1A and 1B between him and Malik Neighbors. Neighbors is just so explosive, and his runner after the catch ability, his instinct, I think, is what has grabbed me. And I'll kick it over to Santana. He's done a lot more research on this, but I've watched some of the tape of both of those guys with him, and Harrison Jr. does everything right and does everything good, but Neighbors does similar. Plus, he just has that like I said, that second sense or that sixth sense, like that. He knows which way to turn his body to get out of a catch or in and out of a break.
Not that I would compare the two as far as the style of play that they have, but watching Malik Neighbors on tape, and I've watched. I did quarterbacks last week, and in my notes for Jaden Daniels, every fifth note it just says Malik Neighbors because that's how this kid shows up on tape. I'm watching specifically the quarterback, and Brian Thomas had his, he shined too on the tape, but Malik Neighbors just really, really shows up. Marvin, obviously, what you're going to get in Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a miss. The guy is rangy. He has unique body control. Obviously, he comes from, Kentucky Derby level pedigree.
Oh, yeah. Hall of Fame stock.
Yeah, he's got great size, great hands. Marvin Harrison doesn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with what he does as far as what shows up on tape. Malik Neighbors is a bulldog, and he reminds me of watching Deebo Samuel. And again, not that I would compare either of them. They don't play the game the same way, but you can throw it, just flip it out to Malik Neighbors, and he'll break a tackle, juke a guy. Very high energy. Just the difference between. And I think that if you decided as an NFL team, Neighbors is my number one guy, Marvin Harrison is my number one guy, or Rome Odunze is my number one guy, I don't think you're going to be wrong. It's just
you won't be disappointed.
You're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be hurt. You're not going to be like, shit, should have taken the other guy because this guy's not near as good. I think that they are all of a caliber. But for me personally, watching Malik Neighbors, he just really explodes when you're watching the tape. And that comes from his run after the catch ability, like Kenyatta was just saying, his innate ability to just sense what the next right move is. Again, when I call him a bulldog, just his overall aggression. He'll try to run through you if he can't get around you. The first guy is not going to make the tackle. That's the stuff that really reminded me of Deebo in the way that just that the first dude's not going to be the one. The second guy might be the one, and they may get there at the same time, but the first guy's not going to be the one. And that's one of the things. Really, if I would say, just overall, if I just had to pick, what are you looking for in your top three receivers? If you want extremely sure hands, all three of them have them. If you want range, body control, and route running, I would lean Marvin Harrison Jr. if you want just overall innate playmaking, like if you want somebody who's really going to explode on the field, Malik Neighbors. And if you want the 50-50 ball guy, then you want a Dunze. Like that's how and when I think about the three of them, that's how I picture them.
Santana, I got a question for you. Floor and ceiling.
I got it. I gotta go. Go ahead. Sorry.
Floor and ceiling. Like, how would you rate their like, if you were to draft Harrison Jr. over Malik Neighbors, which one do you think has the higher floor? Which one do you think has the higher ceiling?
I kind of
or
feel
about the same.
Honestly, I hadn't even really thought about it, but I kind of feel, just as you were asking that question, Marvin Harrison Jr. fits in with Smith and Jigba and Olave and Garrett Wilson. Like, these guys were going to be good. Like, that's the level of receiver, and have been. And that's the level of receiver that they all were. Like, worst case scenario, you're going to get a very similar production as what you got out of college. Best case scenario, you get, marginally better than that, because that's just how good they are. They are already that good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you've seen that from specifically Olave and Wilson. I think Smith and Jigma is going. I mean, you saw flashes last year, but I think that over time we're going to see that guy be a really stellar receiver. Again, very much what Alabama has seen over the past few years. Like, at one point in time, those four guys were on the same team, and I don't know that we talk about stuff that like that enough, because Jesus. But I think that Marvin Harrison, if you want somebody who's just going to, he's going to be the guy. What you see is what you get. You're going to get that at the bare minimum. So his floor, I would say, would be significantly higher than like maybe anybody else's in the draft, really, other than Brock Bowers. I think that guy's something serious as far as where, like, you're going to get what you get with him, and his floor is going to be extremely high. Malik Neighbors could have a pitfall. I really don't know. Like, that's the style of player he is. Like, there's nothing about, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the best route runner in this class or has the best hands in this class. It really is about just overall impact. Because I've watched specifically Marvin Harrison. I've watched specifically Malik Neighbors, but watching other guys is when Malik Neighbors pops up for me on tape. And so I would say, yes, his floor is lower. But I could see his ceiling be actually significantly higher. Like, we talked before about how his stats and Jamar Chase's stats kind of line up similarly. I could see him. I don't know what it is. I really fell in love with the player watching him on tape. So I could see him, and not that I didn't know. I mean, I watched him all season too, and thought that guy's really freaking good. If you watch college football at all, you knew Malik Neighbors was really freaking good. But when just watching and not paying attention to him, and all of a sudden he's like, yo, I'm in this tape too. It's like, oh, you sure are, guy. And there you are, being really impressive. Because again, I think Jay Daniel. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was about to say, would you say that a Dunze kind of like splits the middle on that?
That's a really good way to put that question, because I'm not real sure. Like, I think that he actually leans more towards Marvin as far as his floor and ceiling aren't that far off. Whereas Malik Neighbors could go on to be the best receiver in the league, or end up. Well, and not that I think that that's how low his floor is, but just the difference between his floor and the other two guys' floors. I mean, and just looking at the rest, just look at the top 7 here. I'm not huge on what McConkey is going to be. As a matter of fact, this is something I wanted to bring up tonight while we're on receivers, and if y'all are okay moving to a couple other guys. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a stud in his own right. Mitchell, Leggett, like Worthy. I think all of these guys have but here's what I want to talk about. Ladd McConkey versus Ricky Purcell. Ladd is getting, and not to Georgia fans, if there are any in existence, not to take
many.
away, right, the few that are out there, and the even more that have come out since they've been good. I'm fooling, but Ladd McConkey did, like, he was really, really good at Georgia. Nothing about what he did screams to me first round pick, and he's getting mocked that way. And to be in the top 7 of this receiving group, this is a really deep receiving class, and for him to be ranked in the top 7, I could be really, really wrong. I just don't see it, especially when Ricky from Florida has been, to me, first off, he didn't play at Georgia. He just play this clip right here. That catch right there, Normie, is ridiculously insane. And then if you watch Florida at all, he's one of the few players that really, really popped or has popped the entire time that he's been there. Florida's obviously not in the greatest offensive existence of their, existence, but this cat is crazy athletic. He's sure-handed. He's explosive. If you can, and I talk all the time. Anytime draft comes up on here, I talk about value. And if you can get Ladd McConkey in the top 32, but you can get this guy in the top 70, like I really don't see. Roman Wilson is another guy that I think is getting kind of brushed over in this draft. You hear a lot about Worthy and Leggett and everybody, but this guy also maybe not nearly on tape as explosive, but shows out at the combine, shows out anytime the ball gets thrown to him. He single-handedly almost has worked JJ McCarthy into a top 10 pick. Like that, I think this is a really deep. This is a really deep receiver class, and to say that Ladd McConkey would be significantly above either of those two guys, let alone somebody like Brendan Rice or Troy Franklin,
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy specifically. What Xavier Worthy did at Texas, and then he goes and breaks the combine record for 40 times. I don't understand. I mean,
okay, the way they've got him picked are like slotted, like second round, sometimes third round. He's going to fall to the Chiefs, and people are going to regret letting him fall to the Chiefs. Some team, an AFC West team, should pick him up, even if they don't think he'll fit their system. Like, do not let him go to the Chiefs, because you saw what happened the last time there was a guy. Like, obviously, he's not quite at 165, the beast that Tyreek Hill became, because I think Tyreek Hill's closer to 200, but obviously a slight build of a man, but with crazy speed. And then Andy Reid knows how to get you open over the middle to where it's like, get the ball in his hands, let him go do what he needs to do.
Well, and the mock I see the most is McConkey going to the Chiefs at 32. And I actually saw one earlier that had San Francisco taking him at 31, which I would absolutely lose my shit if that's what they decided to do with that pick.
But you'd be upset if you guys got Ladd McConkey?
Would I be upset if we got him? No, but would I be upset if we got him at 31?
Pick? Yeah.
When we have so many other needs besides receiver, like my top 3 receivers for at least this year, I am sold with. Like, let's not add anything that we don't have to add, but
you got to re-sign Ayuk or extend.
Yeah, I was about to say he's on, like, he's signed for at least this year. Like, everybody's on the roster for this year.
Yeah, but like, is he willing to put that foot in the sand and be like, nah, I ain't playing until you pay me what I want?
Let me tell you, I'd be willing to go through a season with him holding out and Juwan Jennings as the number 2 receiver over drafting really anybody, any of these guys. Unless Malik Neighbors falls to 31, I don't want a receiver in the first round. And legit, that would be if Marvin Harrison or Odunze, like, that's how I feel about Malik Neighbors. If he falls to 31, I'll take him. But it could be anybody else as far as what happens at 31. I do not want a receiver in that position. Now, the next round, sure, especially if we continue to struggle with what we want to do with Ayuk. But it would just, I just don't. And McConkey's a fantastic route runner. He's significantly more athletic than I think that he comes across when you watch him play at Georgia.
I think he had a 4.3.
I think
or a 4.4.
It was
sub 4.5.
Yeah,
4.39.
4.39.
Yeah, like it was surprisingly fast for what I thought it would be.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just anti-Georgia when it comes to some stuff. It's kind of the Alabama effect of, like, I don't know if you were that good or you benefited from a lot going on around you. And
yeah.
Now, I won't feel that, again, talk about Brock Bowers. That guy is going to be real no matter where he goes. And if I'm Kent's favorite team, the Los Angeles Chargers, I specifically, and I'm sitting there at 5, as long as I guess I don't know. It's hard to say I'm going to set my offense around a tight end, but when Harbaugh was with San Francisco, we had Vernon Davis, and those offenses worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think this guy is more of a sure thing than maybe anybody else in the draft.
Yeah, his floor has got to be incredibly high. I don't think any one of the 32 teams could miss if they take him wherever he ends up falling. Now, would it be what they need? Possibly not. Actually, speaking of my team, the Rams, I love Tyler Higbee, who's been a very huge piece in moving the ball for us as we have progressed throughout the ages, and like legitimately ages. I think Higbee's been there for 6 or 7 years, but I'd be psyched if we got. He's not going to come to us. He'll be drafted well before that, but
If he makes
I
it out of the top
wouldn't hate if we
but-
trade up to go get him, because then you got Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Brock Bowers, and of course keep Higbee on the team. Like there's a lot of 2 tight end sets for our offense. We did it with Gerald Everett and Higbee for a long time. So I think like you were saying, Santana, he's a can't miss.
Yeah, one of the very few in what this class is. We have talked before about or I personally feel that the way football is these days, it's not talent or ability that is going to make kids not be able to stick anymore. It's almost to a point of possibly overcrowding and, poor decision making or work ethic or whatever. But like just the way that football starts teaching nowadays, like nothing when we were kids and playing, nothing like what exists now was happening. We weren't brought up in the age of this is how football is played. We were brought up in like this is how football is played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. There's so much science and information that has gone into this now that like Brock Bowers has been like perfectly trained from the time that he could put his hand in the dirt and get in a 3-point stance and fire off and catch a pass. Like I think that most guys could be considered can't miss just because of how good football players are these days. But this guy is the one that's like, you can almost bet on it. You'd put like anything Kent owns to it, like his house or car,
Or bet a tattoo on it.
Yeah, but for him, for Kenyatta, not
For
for not for
Kenyatta,
me. He's just, I don't know. You look at somebody like Travis Kelce or George Kittle, and you see the traits of this guy. Not only is he a fantastic receiver, you can line him up wherever you want to on the field, but he's a ferocious blocker, and whoever ends up with him is, I hope they know how to use him because he's that good.
Yeah.
And he's got that competitive spirit in him too, because he could have shut it down with 3 games left in the season. And a lot of people are saying like he probably should to save his draft status, like to not risk further injury. And as soon as they asked him that, I was like, why would you don't ask me stupid questions. Of course I'm gonna play. It's like as soon as I'm ready to healthy enough to play, I'm playing. And then he did. Unfortunately, that happened the week after he single-handedly beat Auburn, but as far as when he got injured, I mean, not that I pray on injury for anyone, but
it sounds like you were specifically praying for one on him.
But no,
Yeesh.
This
as
guy.
soon as he
he's a child, Kenyatta. Oh my god.
As soon as he got that injury, people were talking about him shutting the season down and how it'd be a good business decision and this, that, and the other. And he was like, screw that, man. I'm a football player. I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he knows that he's a first-round draft pick, a top 15 draft pick. If he shuts, he could have not played this year. That's what he's already done through true freshman, true sophomore, and now his true junior year.
He breaks some tackles when necessary, Jeez.
Everybody's a critic, but
Average
I guess
12.1
specifically-
yards per carry.
you know, chump change.
Yep. In the SEC, those defenses are notoriously bad. I mean,
To be fair, Kenyatta, you did say he single-handedly beat Auburn, but we were playing off of him so hard for whatever reason toward down the stretch. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So Auburn double-handedly. Auburn plus Brock Bowers beat Auburn. Story old as time, which also happened again to our other biggest rival. We'll find a way. We will snatch.
You'll get that one thing
from the
that you can
jaws
talk
of victory.
Well, don't worry. Sooner or later, you'll get that one thing that you can talk about for 13 more years or 10
That's
more
what makes
years.
Saban retire.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going out on this, man. I've only been on the ass end of this shit.
Look, it does. I think we talked about it after Saban retired, but it does make me happy that guy, after one of his few bugaboos, is whatever the fuck was going on in Jordan Hare, and he gets to go out on that that same energy. Like, good for you, coach. Good for you.
He acknowledged it in the presser too. Like, immediately after the game, he was like, "I'm just glad to be on this side of it." But I know some weird stuff has happened here. Yeah, you're right. Good for him.
The Jordan Hare Indian burial ground giveth, the Jordan Hare Indian burial ground taketh away. So we talked wide receivers a little bit. I mean, Brock Bowers is really the only tight end worth discussing. I mean, what would y'all think?
I mean, these guys are contributors, but I don't know enough about any of them to comment.
All right.
I like that he wears number 0.
So what position do you want to move to next, Santana?
Dealer's choice.
All right.
We don't even have to necessarily move to position as much as like team overall, team needs.
All right. Well, we can do it this way. So the Bears, obviously, they're going to pick a quarterback.
It's probably Caleb Williams. I think their GM has basically said as much. Like, there is no hand, there is no subterfuge. In my opinion,
it is lying season.
It is lying season. There is just too much going on there. Like,
of course, when you got the first pick, you really don't have to lie very much, but
unless you know that somebody else
just
really,
to mess
really
up.
wants them.
I mean, I'm sure
that you can trade back, and you think that Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whoever could give you similar in return.
There were reports.
I think that they've basically given it up.
There were reports early on in lying season that said Washington badly wanted Caleb Williams and was willing to give up a lot to move up in front of Chicago to get him. And then they went and hired Cliff Kingsbury. And so that was kind of like, damn, they may be gearing up for a move. And that's something that we need to talk about. If we're going to start our mock draft, I guess, is that our plan to do a mock draft Wednesday of next week? Or
yeah, probably a week from today for all of our viewers.
you guy.
The one fan to decide.
That needs to be a part of the opening.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn, now I don't remember what I was going to say. Mock draft.
Cliff Kingsbury, Williams, the Commanders won.
Yeah, no, I don't remember what I was going to say. But
that they were gearing up to
make a big I guess bold predictions is maybe what I was going to say about just like what we can add to this show or the mock draft show. Just if I had a bold prediction, it would be that Washington gives up the house to move up to get specifically Caleb, and the Bears are probably sitting there going like, yeah, we're okay with Jaden Daniels otherwise. But that again, bold prediction because I think it's Caleb all the way for sure.
I think it's Caleb all the way for sure.
Now, what's the most interesting pick for me with Chicago is what they do at 9. What they do at 9 is, they just added Keenan Allen. They had DJ Moore. They've done work at the receiver position over the past couple of off seasons. And so now, do you take if any of the top 3 guys are still there? Do you take a receiver and continue to add there with a young guy for Caleb Williams or whoever? Or do you try and shore up the offensive line with somebody like Joe?
I think you've got to shore up the offensive line because they've also got Aaron Jones now, who I think is still ready to helm a backfield. You got an excellent pass rusher and Montez Sweat still. I mean, I think you got to go offensive line right there because, I mean, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen still to this day are in their own rights number 1 receivers. DJ Moore is arguably a top 5 receiver. So I if they took a wide receiver, that would be fine because Keenan Allen's no spring chicken.
Well, no spring chicken, and going back to earlier in the show, the dude hadn't been able to stay healthy. So you take a Roma Dunze to grow with Caleb under the wing of Keenan Allen. And then also that gives you almost immediately a top. We can go through the top 3 receivers again, but that would give you a top 3. And if you allow us to include tight ends in this one, Kenyatta, Cole Kmet.
Mm-hmm.
So
hey, you know how I feel about Cole Kmet. He's been a dildo for the last 2 years. And for those who don't know the show, that's my fantasy football team's name, and it's well earned.
Well earned.
It's an honor to be a dildo.
But then they also got DeAndre Swift in the offseason as well. Heading up for the running back. Yep.
Yeah, I don't
With
know.
also still having Khalil Herbert.
Also, Aaron Jones is with the Vikings, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was just thinking all NFC North. But still, yeah, DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert. I don't know. I'd say taking a swing at an offensive position that's not offensive line, it seems excessive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't know what they would do on the defensive side because, like you said, they have Sweat. The secondary is not in terrible shape, but I don't know who the optimal pick in that position would be for that side of the ball. But I agree. I don't know that I would go receiver there, but again, you
can take value.
If there's
a better offensive lineman or a better receiver, like
best player available. Sometimes you just have to go to the best player available. Again, and I will come back to this as we do more. Well, I'll probably talk about it draft night. The fact that Chicago has done the work that they have done for whichever young kid they bring in and not had done any of this for Justin Fields is just so frustrating. Like for me as a Justin Fields fan, like if you had, never mind. I've bitched about it before. It just blows my mind that you don't know what's coming in with whichever quarterback you are in love with at the moment. And Fields has gotten better and better and better and better. And
with nothing. And then now you have this opportunity.
You finally give him a player like DJ Moore. He progresses. Cole Kmet again. Now you've added a legit running back and one of the league's best receivers over the past 15 years or so. I don't know. And then you ship him off. You ship him off to sit behind Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. And when you could have like done something like Joe Alt in the top with traded out just what you could have done for the team overall if you held on to Fields. And I may be in the minority in this. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, but it just seems like what you could have done with the picks that you have versus what you're going to do it seems like I would have leaned the other way. But that's why I'm here talking to you guys and not,
Yeah.
sitting in the
Sitting next
war
to Mel
room.
Kiper.
Yeah.
I guess
No,
without,
I feel like me and Mel Kiper probably would have a similar like call rate. Like I think everybody's got to be about 50-50,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start recording that.
he started a
Kenyato,
lot
you're the
stronger.
notes guy.
Write that down.
Write that down.
50-50. I'm not going to remember what this means tomorrow. I wrote it down.
Well done.
Without tipping our hand too much for next week's show, it's kind of like what we did last year. Obviously, this is kind of a whole new season, a whole new thing. But do you guys want to try and run down? Snake draft. But if it's your team, you get the pick, and then no trades.
Yeah, no trades.
And then just do a first round based on how we think that they should draft.
Yeah, we could do that.
Like right this instant? Is that what you're?
No. It's next week.
Yeah.
Wednesday, because the draft is Thursday.
Yeah, I thought we had already decided that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, not to tip our hand too much about like how I think it's going to play out. It's Caleb Williams right there for the Bears, and then like just right there for the Commanders is Jaden Daniels, and then just right there for the Patriots. They say, lying season, they don't want a quarterback. They're willing to roll with Jacoby Brissett.
Which I think, if that's true, I mean,
it's a bold move for a first-year head coach.
You could do a lot worse than Jacoby Brissett.
I agree with that.
I think that they have been doing a lot worse than Jacoby Brissett the last 2 seasons. So
he's a top 10 backup in the league, but he's a top 10 backup in the league
for sure. But I think that if you don't look at the guy that say you want Jaden Daniels, but you can't move into the 2 spot, and then you're sitting there with Drake May and McCarthy and whoever else you're interested in. Do you go, I'm not overly loving these guys, I'll stick with my guy and see what happens down the road? Especially if you like, say Bo Nix drops to the 2nd round and the Patriots can get Bo at the top of the 2nd versus a guy that they're not, or Michael Penix or somebody like that at the top of the 2nd versus whoever they would be not so in love with at the 3 spot. They don't have to play right away because they have Jacoby Brissett. It gives you another year to gather weapons because that is something that they are void of. And
they're void of everything in New England right now.
That's the thing. And I think that that Mayo knows that and he says, I've got a guy who Kyle Shanahan with Brian Hoyer. Like, that's what I would compare that situation to. He says, we need more than the quarterback position. This guy can get me through games. We need to make sure that the next guy is surrounded by talent.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not saying that, but
I don't
think they'll pick at 3. I think that they'll trade back.
I think that's what I was about to say. I think that what the plan would be is if they're not interested in one of those quarterbacks that they could have at 3, they move back. Maybe they are interested in one of the other guys that they can take later. But value
at draft capital for a pick that you know that you don't have to have right now. If you're Gerard Mayo is confident, Gerard Mayo and I don't know who their GM is, like they're confident in rolling through a season with Brissett. Bailey Zappi has actually also been proven to be a very good backup. Thanks for pulling up that graphic, Normie. Johnny on the spot. But I mean, they have got to add so many pieces at so many places.
Also, just looking at this, this would be like my favorite Madden team to start with. You don't have like a superstar anywhere, but you have a lot of really solid pieces here.
That's the thing. They
Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson. You know how I love me some Kendrick Bourne, Juju, Keyshawn Butte, Hunter Henry, and Austin Hooper,
and LaMichael Petway.
Hey,
Hey.
Oh,
Do you know who that is? Y'all have no idea, do y'all?
that's
Not even one little clue.
No, hang on. Give me a second.
Okay,
Hang on.
you've seen him.
I just want to see his face real fast. Okay.
You've seen him.
Yeah, at Birmingham, right?
So that game y'all went to last year, the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown pass, LaMichael Petway.
No way.
That's why before I pulled it up, I was looking at it like that name sounds very familiar.
Talking about like why I actually think the UFL and spring football here in the States is just excellent. Like it gives people shots.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Iowa State. What is it
That's what I
about
was
the state of Iowa sending out tight ends?
They
I mean,
turn them
specifically
out.
Iowa, but like the state of goodness gracious, they got a lot of tight ends.
That's why you hate Iowa so much. Just the state of Iowa. It all makes sense now.
No, they've got plenty to work on, but yeah, no, I'd be shocked if they didn't trade back out of 3. Like, there's just nothing like. Once again, it's Lions season, and they really might like Drake May or another quarterback, or even trade up and they out commanders the Commanders and go grab Jaden Daniels or something, because I'd heard some smoke that they were very highly interested in that player.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that even before the Bill Belichick thing. Like he was leaning towards actually getting him.
So, but I think based on how everything's going right this second, they'll trade back and they'll.
I mean, that's what they always do, isn't it?
They haven't picked this high in a long time.
Not since we've been able to walk, maybe.
Yes. I don't know what they always do from pick number 3. And then the Cardinals, they need a wide receiver. That's probably where Marvin Harrison goes.
If they stay there, but that's also a team that's there's a good chance of moving out of, especially with somebody like maybe New York or I don't know, any of these quarterback desperate teams that want to move up. A lot of experts say that the Vikings could move into that spot, But if they stay there, yeah, that's where I would expect them to go, would be Marvin Harrison.
Well, it depends on how much you value whichever receiver you really, really want, or whichever receiver for the best offer that you think that you can get if you trade back. Which, like you were saying, Santana, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, you're going to get value with all of those. It seemingly get value with all of those.
Say New York are the team. I think they were picking at 8, right? The Giants. Say they trade.
6.
They're picking at 6. Okay, so you move back 2 spots. You gain probably a second round, maybe next year's first. I don't know, whatever the Giants decide to kick into the nothing. And then they probably burn the pick on JJ McCarthy. But anyway, you're the Cardinals. You may jump back a couple of spots and then lose out on Marvin Harrison Jr. or Neighbors or whichever one goes first. But you probably still at 6 get an opportunity to take one of the top 3 guys, so
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, realistically, at that spot, you could, if for whatever reason you lost out on all 3 of the top 3 guys. I mean, there are guys that can make up. Like again, Brian Thomas Jr. He's going to be real too. Like
he's 6'4" and ran a 4.38 himself.
Yeah,
6'4", 4.38. That's insane.
If I'm just talking specifically about Jaden Daniels' tape, he shows up too. It's just Malik Neighbors is like, good God, Malik Neighbors, and then Brian Thomas is like, yeah, there he goes doing that thing. So he's worthy of wherever he goes in the first round. He's definitely worthy of that.
I agree with that.
But I mean, there's a bunch of like again, this is at one point early before the season even started. Somebody had predicted like I told you about this. Predicted like 11 or something receivers in the first round, which is just a
Yeah.
ridiculous number.
I'd seen as high as like 13 at some point. And I was like, there's no way that
no, and that's
13 of one position goes in the first round. That's insane.
well, and it's kind of what we had
Yeah.
talked about with the quarterback position. Like this is a deep quarterback class for what this particular class is.
But it's
at one
kind of
point in
like.
time,
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What were you about?
Well, it's kind of like the like when COVID hit, the pandemic hit, though, and we've watched this happen before too. The domino effect, where suddenly it's like, well, you know, what we have to buy is all of the toilet paper because that's the thing that's going to go. And then it's like, well, son of a bitch, I didn't want to buy toilet paper, but now I don't know when I'm going to be able to get toilet paper.
Or like when Hank Hill goes, it's the tornado, and Hank Hill's going into the Megalomart because he needs a fuel filter, and they only sell them in packs of 40. And then the lady behind him's like, "What? I need a fuel filter. Where's this a-hole's taking all the fuel filters? I need one." They're taking all the wide receivers. I need a wide receiver.
Like it's just
that's
one of
just
those
what the
things
draft
that-
is, though.
Yeah.
Year in
Yeah.
year out, like
We've watched
shit.
panic happen.
all the time. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about watching the draft. It's like,
Well, in fantasy football, it's the same way. You'll
oh
be
yeah, you
sitting
can
there.
feel that.
It'll be
It's the
like third.
exact same
It'll be
way.
third round, and then somebody will like take, like, oh, well, I'll get my Holmes in the third round, and then it's like, boom, another quarterback, boom, a quarterback, boom, a quarterback. And I'm like, what? It's the third round here. Like, what are y'all doing?
And then you're stuck with like Gardner Minshew or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Gardner Minshew, but like I was not going to take him.
Yeah. Well, it looks like I'm picking a quarterback like third to last.
Like if everybody stays calm and does the right thing, this is how this should go. But then you start seeing people bucket, like
Mhm.
buck the system, BUCK, like not bucket, mop bucket. Like you start seeing people like buck the system, and then you just start seeing panic happen,
Mhm.
and then like whatever position that like the run is going on, like starts getting picked left and right. I don't think you're getting a lot of value here. You're just kind of
Yeah.
scared. Like you knew that you needed one of them, and now you're afraid that you're not going to get any of them by the time you want to pick them.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing
you
too.
just took a tight end in the third round, and it's not Jason Kelsey or George Kittle. Like, why?
Well, and damn, I just got thinking about how many times I've screwed up taking a tight end early at this point. And
Well, if it's Jason Kelsey or George Kittle, like, it's a good third round pick.
those
if
are the
they're-
ones I've taken. Those are
if-
the ones I've
oh.
taken.
I've taken Jason Kelsey pretty early, and it worked out great for me.
I got Gronk in the first round one time. He took me to the playoffs. That was his career year. And then I think I killed him.
Oh wow.
He came back. I mean,
Yeah, he did good stuff afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he cut every touchdown that basically was
Now
thrown that
Saquon
year.
Barkley, that was all you, buddy. That's
Oh yeah,
all
and I'm
you.
drafting him again. You know I'm drafting him again.
It's a different team. It'll be different.
Hey, as long as he stays healthy, we're about to see a career year out of Saquon. Like that dude's going to do erupt, and it's going to look great as a weasel. Like I love
As long as Cunado does not pick him.
yeah, he's going to be a wonder weasel this year for sure.
You know, just because how much I love him as a player, it feels like it is kind of my ownness to not pick him. Like, don't put this man like underneath the curse yet again. Like, let him go experience being on somebody else's fantasy team. Because if he's on mine, Daniel Jones is your quarterback. Darius Slayton's your best receiver.
Maybe of all time.
No, Jesus God. No.
Speaking of a team that could use a high pick that's the thing. Like, if you're the Giants, you're sitting there. Do I want a quarterback? Do I want to move up to take a quarterback? Do I want to sit where I'm at, take a weapon for the mouth breather that I have, or or do I want to move up, take another guy? Because I mean, you could sit at 6 and get one of the top 3 receivers probably, and then I mean, I don't know what you want to do at quarterback, but
there are quite a few teams out there that need way more than just one spot. Between the Giants and the Patriots, those are the two so far.
I'm not sure. Just looking at this depth chart, that you just can pencil in Drew Lock immediately over DeVito, right?
DeVito had some good
DeVito's he had some success. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, DeVito's played as much good football as I've seen Drew Lock play in the league.
Oh, here's the thing, Santana. Can you immediately pencil Daniel Jones in over either of them?
No. When they, as a matter of fact, when Drew Lock went that way, I was like, I think that you're kind of battle maybe between Drew Lock and DeVito, because I think we're all done with. Did you see the report? I think it was a Bleacher Report thing that came. For sure. I mean, 1,000%.
Yeah.
We all know the game, but just if we're talking football, just strictly football here. An anonymous source came over and was like, yeah, the Giants have always liked Daniel Jones more than literally everybody else. So if they try to move him, nobody's going to want him.
yeah.
And I remember when he got drafted at 6, we all kind of like looked around at each other like, all right, okay. And I don't think you could have got him, I don't know,
in the second or third or fourth round.
Yeah, I don't think that he was in any danger of getting snaked from either.
No one was rushing for that.
Yeah, and so nobody's going to be rushing to take him off their hands either. So classic Giants, and that's the thing is like they've been linked to JJ McCarthy, and I'm like, you're going to do the same thing. Like you're about to make the same mistake.
You're about to get AJ McCarron in the first round.
Well, if they go get JJ McCarthy, then like which one of these excellent quarterbacks will they have to cut?
Oh my god, dude! Just what? Just can you imagine being? Yeah, you're sitting there as Darius Slayton. You're like, I'm the breadwinner of this receiver group right now. And let's go out here. It's a new year. You know, Darren Waller too. He's like, I've played some really good football in my day. Let's me and you, Slayton, and Singletary's like, hey, I'm good. And they're like, yeah, we're going to be good this year. It's like, let's look at our quarterback group. And they're like, just that group. And they're like, not again. Every year with this.
What have we done?
What have we done?
Why did we come here?
What did we do in life to deserve this?
I'm firing my agent tomorrow.
I'm going to star this on where we might have been wrong. Because if McCarthy comes in and goes crazy,
look,
I'll be the first one to say, hey,
yeah,
I hope he does. Honestly,
I got nothing against the
I'm pulling for all of these dudes, man. They're all fucking children to me. But all I'm saying is like when you're looking at like what Daniel Jones did in college, and you watch him, or just like the McCarthy pick would be so Giants, because there's a good chance that if he goes to Minnesota, I think McCarthy actually has a really good chance to have success. Like there are certain systems that he could wind up in that I think that he would be successful. But if he goes to New York, where like just it seems like right now it's a dead space, like this like really like black hole of talent as far as like what's happening on the football field and the quarterback's position, especially like you're just going to get more of the same. It's going for the same thing. Now, if they make a move and go get something like Jaden Daniels or Penix or Nix or like one of these like really dynamic guys, then it's like, okay, cool. At least you're taking a swing. They may not be as like McCarthy's floor may be higher than all of the quarterbacks in this draft. I think that I could comfortably say like his floor could be higher than the rest of the quarterback group, just because he's safe. Like, but. Everybody that I've looked at so far, at least I would want over McCarthy. Really, Nix is fun and kind of is the. I talked about this last week. Nix and McCarthy remind me of each other, except for Bo Nix is like dynamic. I don't know, like there's something about his arm that when the ball comes out of his hand, it's exciting. You don't even as an Auburn fan, it was exciting because you're like, where's it gonna go? But then as like if you watch him at Oregon, you're like, oh, like what's it like? How far is it gonna go? How accurate is it gonna be? Because that's what his tape is. And then he's also a really dynamic runner, whereas McCarthy, who I used to think was really spectacular as a runner, watching him this year is like, I mean, he's good runner. He's a really good runner. He's a fantastic football player. Okay, it's just if the Giants take him, it's going to be a flop for sure. There's some other places he could land, and I'd be like, all right, but again, just value when it comes to this stuff, dude. I just don't understand why these people who are making a bunch of money to make these decisions don't get the like. Can you have JJ McCarthy in the top 5, or can you have him in the top 5 of the second round like that? And that's a different pick, that's a different impact overall on the team.
Well, the Giants pick 47th in the second round. Do you think Bo Nix will be there still? About 47th.
The way that like lying season is going right now, I mean, Bo Nix is projected anywhere from top 10 to third round. Like Penix is, there's the way that I have no clue at this point. Like for where I would think so, the way that I would draft these quarterbacks, I would think that, yeah, Bo would be there. But I don't know. I mean, I've seen specifically Denver taking Bo, which I would like. I think I would like that location for him, Sean Payton and all. But again, you take him, I think Denver's picking 12 or 14, something like
12.
that. 12. And for them to take Bo there at 12 versus, he may be sitting there when they pick again in the second or, whatever the situation may be, not to get specific about any of it, just, value. Like all of these guys are good, but there's really only for me right now, the 2 that I would be fumbling over to get. And that's Caleb and Jaden. And then there's still, I mean, questions about both of those guys too. I mean, we said last week how much of a crapshoot this thing is, but for me, I just, let's not stretch for somebody like JJ when you can have maybe something even better a few picks later, just value overall.
All right. Next, we got the Titans at 7.
That's one of the teams that could be the first to look at Brock Bowers. I mean,
I forgot they picked up Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins.
I was going to say, just looking at
Burks.
If this was just like by name, like if all this worked out, like
Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears.
I didn't know that Mason Rudolph made the move down that way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got to go somewhere. He's going to be a backup somewhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Up until that's the Steelers are another just fun offseason as to what everything has become. Because at one point in time, they're talking about Kenny Pickett versus Mason Rudolph for the starting job, and then that's going back and forth, and now they end up with Russ and Fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, this could be a team that, they've had a pretty decent offensive line, but they could upgrade. Somebody like Alt's probably still on the board at this point. Obviously, another team worth being interested in moving out of the spot. Especially depends on how desperate everybody gets for what's on the board. Again, I'm looking for Brock Bowers to go early. I think a lot of people have Brock Bowers falling, and I just refuse to believe that that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Why would you? And Okonkwo is an established tight end. He's a solid tight end. And if you really look at just like, I mean, we'll see where Will Levis goes. He obviously flashed some things last year. Tony Pollard and Spears are both established running backs at this point. Ridley, Hopkins, and Burks looks like a really cool top 3. And again, Okonkwo is really great. But like if they wanted to upgrade the offense right here, I could see Brock Bowers being that particular piece, especially if you're trying to see what Will Levis can give you and build around the young guy there. And then again, I'm always going to be pro team taking defense early. So
Yeah. Well, it says they need an offensive tackle and a defensive tackle.
well, again, Alt may be on the board there at 7 from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's all J.C. Latham, Troy Fatuanu,
Washington
Washington. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
sounded good.
and then D tackle, Byron Murphy, Jerzon Newton.
See, and I think a lot of these guys are being kind of projected later first, early second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're sitting there at Tennessee and you go, if Alt's on the board, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
If Bowers is on the board, that could be a huge upgrade too. So,
All right. Let's do. Then we got Atlanta. Dallas Turner. If the Dallas Turner's still there and they don't pick Dallas Turner, I'm going to be really, really pissed. Like super pissed.
well, again, a team that can benefit from a lot of spaces. I really liked early on, before they made the Cousin signing, the projection that they would have gone with Daniels because the electric play and mirroring, the glory years when Vic was doing his thing there would have been pretty cool. But this offense overall is to a point of they just needed a trigger puller, and I think they've got one.
I mean, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore, Kyle Pitts. Like
I don't even think I was aware of the Rondale Moore signing.
That's tough to put up against anybody and say that like that deep on running back all the way to tight end, all 3 wide receivers and tight end, not to mention Tyler Algier.
It would not shock me if this team
and
makes
Ray
this serious.
McCloud.
It would not shock. Yeah, no, that hurt us, but it would not shock me if this team made a major push this year.
They got weapons
especially
for days.
Weapons for days, and an experienced quarterback. I like the overall frame of what they have going on. Adding somebody like a talented pass rusher could put the defense over the edge, because it's not like the defense was the issue last year. Not that it was the saving grace or anything, but they've got this is a team that's on the, especially in an NFC South, that is always up for grabs.
Or could they go cornerback? I mean, that's one of their needs as well. I mean, it would probably be a little early, but if they don't, like I said, if they don't get Dallas Turner there, because I think Dallas Turner at 8 is a steal.
Well, that's the thing about the way that this draft is setting up right now, with the quarterback needy teams, the offensive playmaker needy teams, and what it's going to do to the rest of the positions.
Which is a stacked and deep cornerback class, and like it does look like defensive players, based on everything that everybody's saying. Once again, it's lying season, but defensive players are getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and not to mention, like a guy like Joe Alt, who is kind of a lock to be a top 5, now is not. Like, I'm excited.
It's one of my favorite times of year. It's just because we can sit here and talk about it, and Lord knows we read about it and listen about it. But when it comes Thursday, and that's the thing, like growing up, like there really weren't that many surprises. It seems over the past 10 or so years, the draft has gotten extremely exciting as to what's really going to happen.
It has become, they used to play checkers and now they are playing chess. Like they are like, the subterfuge, the like float this rumor out, float that rumor, like do whatever on purpose. Like
There's
We
probably
want Mac,
we're
we
looking
want
for this-
Mac Jones. We're leaning towards Mac Jones, and then
hell
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
legit.
yeah.
Legit, and there's probably some cool study that somebody will do one day about the impact of social media on the whole thing, like as to how information is leaked and when and why information is leaked, as to how these drafts went from being like 2 weeks out, you knew who the first 7 picks were going to be, and then now it's like, I don't know, who's it going to be? I don't know. It's exciting.
or
And God bless it. Like I love it because it's one of my favorite times of year, and to now,
Oh,
and it always has been, even when I knew what the first 7 picks were going to be. But now that it's
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's I mean that I was done.
In y'all's recent memory, what is the most like mind-boggling, not mind-boggling, but like the most shocking top 3 to 5 pick?
Baker
that, like,
Mayfield. Oh,
I was about-
3 to
That's
5.
exactly what I was gonna
For
say.
me, Baker Mayfield first overall was the
Yeah, I was
most
gonna say
shocking.
Baker
That was
Mayfield.
just like, what?
Like,
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was blown away. And he actually kind of worked out for a little bit. They gave
Yeah,
up
I
on
mean,
him.
he took him to the playoffs.
You know?
Hey, I think we talked about this recently, but the whole Baker Mayfield given up on by Cleveland, like Baker Mayfield was not a bust for Cleveland. Cleveland busted on Baker Mayfield is how I
Mhm.
kind of feel about that.
I agree.
Like, and Baker may not go on to be like first overall pick worthy as far as, you know, whoever standards you get judged by, but the fact that we don't get to know that in Cleveland is Cleveland's fault, not Baker's.
I 100% agree. Couldn't agree more. I mean, was it a big swing? Was it the most shocking thing that I've seen in my draft memory? Yes. Did he pan out amazingly? No. Did he fail? Also, no.
I mean, he's
Well,
still there.
And
He took his team to the playoffs just this last year. Like,
he got a new contract from that team
and won a
like,
game.
His last 3 seasons are better than Deshaun Watson's last 3 seasons.
not only did you give up on something that could have been wonderful as far as Baker Mayfield's still very young. Like he could end up being, I mean, I don't know what he could end up being, but Cleveland will never know like firsthand. And you go and Baker, you gave away your future for this guy and then traded Baker away. Like so many picks, so much, and to just
so much
like
cap space, so much,
like all of it. Yeah, you signed him to this ridiculous contract, you know, and
Record deal.
And he's not even good at getting massages. I bet Baker's good at getting massages.
Yeah,
You know, like
he just asked for a massage and that's it.
yeah, and then that's the way I've always understood it. I don't know.
No, Baker got done dirty. And I didn't like him throughout college because he's kind of come off as, I don't know, entitled, I think is the best word I could use.
Yeah.
But then the more that you see like of him, I think entitlement is still there. I'm not just gonna like rip that thing away whatsoever.
Arrogance maybe more than entitlement.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, Santana. But at least at the end of the day, I think that he wants to win more than anything. Like he is a competitor.
Yeah,
and dude. You shipped him out just because you're Cleveland. Because Cleveland going Cleveland.
Cleveland's going to the Browns going Browns. Baker is a lunch pail, like get after it effort type of player, right?
Is he going to give his boss the finger a couple of times? Sure.
Absolutely. Is he not the most fucking Cleveland player? Like, is that not what you want? Is that their chant, you know, Cleveland? Like, Jesus. Like, he's the most Cleveland guy. He's going to go in there. Is it going to be his best day every day? No. But is it going to be his best effort every day? Hell yeah. Dude's going to try every time. Every time. And then also give his boss the finger. And yeah, I think that speaks to what they should have traded him to Philly. Like that.
Oh,
maybe
he's
would've
such a
landed, but
Philly
he
guy.
just-
He's such a Philly guy.
But yeah, no,
Wow.
and I'm stoked for him to do whatever he's gonna do in Tampa.
I'm glad
Like,
that he still has an opportunity. And damn, dude, like with like his little bitty stint with us at the Rams, like he took it with class, grace, and humbleness. But he's like, I'm gonna start. Like, I'm not sitting around to be a backup. Like, I'm gonna start. And then not only does he go start, like I think he took Tampa out of the first round.
yeah, won a game.
Mhm.
Yeah, Detroit put them out.
Detroit put him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the divisional.
Yeah, well, as soon as he got there last offseason, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be between him and Kyle Trask, I was like, no, it's not.
Mm,
Baker's going to win that job.
that's like that. Before Tua's second year, and it was, oh well, it's between Tua and Mac Jones. It's still a quarterback battle, and everybody's like, yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, we don't
No.
believe you. We don't believe you.
Yeah.
I just hope that Cleveland, like as an organization, is just now. To be fair, without like Stefanski as a head coach, I'm not even talking about the upper brass. They're the ones who have like screwed the pooch on this one. Stefanski, between Joe Flacco and PJ Walker and the Water Boy and you know the Water Girl, like whoever they were running out there, and still had the season that they had, it is pretty incredible and
Yeah.
good for them. But there's no way at the upper brass that you're not just sitting there thinking like, Normie, I'm talking to you here. Well, God damn it.
Oh god damn it.
If we just waited like for our first round, first overall pick to pay off, it might have actually paid off.
Well, and for the first times ever, I was actually interested in what was going on in Cleveland. They had this just really feisty, competitive quarterback who, may or may not pan out, but like I liked him at Oklahoma. I like the guys that'll go out there and get busted up and then like kind of pop up and like move on.
Yeah, and continue to run their mouth even though they just got trucked.
Yeah, like I love that. That's what football is. But they had like two great running backs, receivers, a great offensive line. The offense I enjoyed watching. There's just so much like a defensive front that my gosh, led by Myles Garrett, amazing. So just the team overall was just built. Like they had great defensive backs. Like the team overall is just like structurally like a really fun thing. I was like, I like this group, like I like this group and then they're like, okay, but Baker was hurt all last year and kind of underperformed, and Deshaun wasn't good at getting massages, so we can probably trade for him. And then they just gave up on this, and to have Chubb go down this year, it's like, man, it's rough to watch up there. You go from having my like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull for Cleveland right now, and then now it's like, yeah, oh y'all, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've always kind of disliked Cleveland because they have shit brown uniforms and have always been boring my entire life. But like you were saying, Santana, they were building something to where I was actually being like, all right, guys, like the lovable underdog, like cool, like let's get it. Like, and you're starting it with a shocking first round, first pick overall with Baker Mayfield, who is, I would say, probably a lovable underdog. I mean, you got to get past some of the, the attitude, which is fine. In the pros, I don't mind it as much. In college, I'm like, arrogance. Yeah. Arrogance is the word. But I think and obviously the insurance commercials did a lot to rehab his image too, in that regard. But I don't know. Like they made me pull for him for a second, and then they did that. And then not only did they do that, and I am a big proponent of quit resetting the market on players that don't deserve resetting the market on. Yeah. And Deshaun Watson's absolute talent at the peak of stability probably is worth resetting the market on. However, I still think right now he's the highest paid quarterback with most of it guaranteed because Cleveland is stupid. And then I was like, oh no, you guys are no, y'all going to do y'all. Like the rest of the quarterbacks were on telling us like, we're not giving you a Deshaun deal. I don't know how that guy weirdly massaged his way into that deal, but like that doesn't make sense for the rest of the team.
Well, that's the thing too. Is it's not like he dealt with his off the field issues and then immediately went back into playing football. He was off the field for 2 years, so they gave a player that had not played in a long time a ridiculous contract. Now, yes, Kenyatta at the peak of his game, the dude was one of the best to do it. Like I could be
Top
argued,
five, at least.
I've thought at times it was Mahomes and then him. Like I thought that highly of him at times when before he was not playing anymore. And does he have the opportunity or does he have the ability to get back to that level? I mean, we'll see, but he can't stay on the field at this point. But like,
I would say we'll see because like you said, like he can't even stay on the field now.
He can't stay on the field, so you give
Like
this
the
ridiculous
worst waste
contract.
of $260 million of all time.
Yeah, I would like to see a list. Like, what is the worst waste of $260 million?
I think the Mets paid a guy like the New York Mets.
Oh, okay. I was like, who?
Yeah.
Who?
Like I think that they paid a guy like $8 million a year for 20 years after he was playing because of how his contract was written.
Yeah, like it just
that's got to be like one of the like top like.
All right, moving on to the Jets.
I don't know. I'm still kind of interested in discussing the worst uses of $260 million of all time.
I mean, what was Russell Wilson's contract?
That was whatever that. Look, and to be fair, this past season he was. It's not his fault that it was a waste.
He was a top 10, top 12 quarterback.
Yeah, and no, that was another thing that talking about Cleveland shit. Like Cleveland's thing was weird. This Denver stuff with Russ was really weird.
I agree. Yeah, I mean they can't get their shit together. I don't know where the launch point for them is.
12 when they select Bo Nix.
Yep.
I would be kind of bummed about that.
I think that's a good landing spot for him. It's not like they're just talentless.
Well, I think Sean's lost his fastball. Peyton.
I mean,
I think my Sean still has all of the speed.
Oh yeah,
he's throwing 99-mile-an-hour heaters.
Left-handed. Yeah. Well, we got the Jets here at 10. And says their needs are offensive tackle, wide receiver, tight end, safety, QB.
This is where I've seen Bowers mocked a lot also.
Oh, I hope for his sake, no.
Well, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and then look at the rest of it, especially now that they've added Mike Williams.
They've shored up the offensive line a good bit.
Yeah, they've done a good job this offseason of adding what specifically offensively is what I'm aware of. You add Brock Bowers, you add a player like that to that group of Breece Hall and
Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams.
Yeah, I
mean,
and
Xavier Gibson's nothing to sneeze at.
No, I think that would be a cool place for him to land as long as Aaron Rodgers plays more than 4 snaps in the season.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently you're the one. I think Santana was telling me that they've already had meetings with Malik Neighbors too, depending on where he falls.
That would be cool.
I mean, that would be pretty insane.
That would be ridiculous, but it'd be very similar, especially with Mike Williams there. Like, if the Bears were to add a top 10 it's somebody to play behind Keenan Allen. The Jets adding somebody to play behind Mike Williams until Mike Williams bails. I know Mike Williams still has some tread, but he also stays injured.
He does stay injured.
But they got Alan Lazard there too. So
yeah, everybody likes a participation trophy sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. We're going.
I'm kidding. I like Lazard. I like Lazard a lot. He's very good. And Aaron Rodgers is very loyal to his former teammates and whatnot. And he specifically wanted Lazard. And Lazard's made a lot of plays that are, irreplaceable. However, Lazard does not start over Adunze, Harrison Jr., or Malik Neighbors.
No. Well, not later on in the season.
I think pure contract wise.
Day one.
I think day one. Now, Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams, yeah. I think Xavier Gibson gets bumped, but
just imagine. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Gibson's could be a contributor, but put any of the top 3 guys in that position, or I mean, again, Bowers at the tight end position.
Conklin.
And then Conklin's
not bad.
Yeah, he's not a bad option at all. So I don't know. The Jets were literally only missing Aaron Rodgers this year, and I don't know that people really realize that. Like the offensive line was not good. They have fixed that problem.
Yep.
The
defense
team
was elite.
The defense was elite.
For how often they had to be on the field?
No shit.
Yeah.
And then Hassan Reddick and Kinlaw, like they've added to the defense.
CJ Mosley's already there. Like Sauce Gardner. I mean, one of your best cornerbacks in the league. I mean, everything's there.
Everything's there. As long as Aaron can stay upright, I think we could be talking about the Jets picking 32 next year, like legit. And I think people forget about that just because of how kind of silly it was, that the hype around them, how high it was, and then Aaron Rodgers goes down with
fourth play of the
game. And now they should be able to protect him a little bit better. The weapons are there. He's there. Like watch out for the Jets. No joke.
I agree.
Alrighty. Moving on, we got Minnesota.
This is the first team, again, going back to the McCarthy thing. They're expected to trade up. I think, honestly, if I were them, they're rocking with
I wish I could help you out right now.
Sam Darnold.
If I can. There it is.
Oh my gosh. And Natty won't sponsor us? This is ridiculous.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's just all right. Yeah, Sam Darnold. He went to the school of Kyle Shanahan to teach quarterbacks how to do quarterbacks good, and
back up this same.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
old cousin Nick.
I think that to trade up to get somebody like, again, McCarthy. Now this is a place where I think McCarthy could succeed, but I mean, again, man, just like for me, looking at the guys that are coming in and looking at some of these guys or some of these teams that are expected to move up. If I'm looking at Sam Darnold, especially now he played sparingly for us last year, but he played well when he played. He has proven to be in the NFL. Like, he's not that bad, right? Like, he didn't work out as the number 3 overall pick, but he has put together some really good games in the past. And I'm looking at him and going, like, he's going to be worse than any of the guys that I'm, like, having to move up to take. If you're sitting at 11 and you can add to your offensive line, add to your defensive front, your pass rush, your whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, I don't know why spend it. Why spend any value moving up to take a quarterback when you could? When you're looking at a guy who was a number 3 overall pick, has put some quality games together in the past, and again,
it really depends on the conversation between Kevin O'Connell and the GM there. Like, I think I can win games with Sam Darnold. It's like, well, I've got to look towards the future, and I don't think he's the future.
But in this draft, though, they do not have a pick in the second round.
It's going to be tough to trade anywhere.
Third round, they are 72. So they pick, or not 72. Sorry, wrong. I'm looking at the wrong team. I still don't know why we're not sponsored by.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
No, they do. They don't pick in the second round.
Weapons wise, they need nothing. I'm in agreement with Santana that, like, Sam Darnold. I mean, hell, Nick Mullins won, I think, the majority of his games with him when he was starting this year. I actually think Kevin O'Connell is a good head coach that has a good system. It's from the McShanahan tree. I would be willing to roll the dice this year, but like you were saying, Santana, it doesn't seem to be that they may or may not have fallen in love with a guy like JJ McCarthy, which I think, is there anything that he brings to the table that's much different than Sam Darnold? I think similar athleticism, similar arm talents.
Well, and what are you going to get? Actually, let's not even get into the physical comparisons. Sam Darnold's arm talent is ridiculous. JJ McCarthy's it's his, and good for him.
Fair point.
You're doing.
I'm just saying, like, why would you start to make moves for that?
Exactly. My argument for it is that what is having that guy on your team going to contribute to your team this year versus if he didn't? Like, realistically, Sam Darnold is still your starter. And what does he overall, like, just what is the impact right now? And that would be my issue with taking, like, moving up if you could move up, or taking JJ McCarthy just overall in the first round, and that's for everybody. Just, yeah, I'm sure he's a good kid. I'm sure that he, like, goes to his studies, and you know, he's a nice boy, and he's good mannered. You know, I'm sure that's great and wonderful, and I'm sure he'll be successful. But just, again, value, man. You can get JJ McCarthy in third round. We have JJ McCarthy at home, okay? And it's in the third round. You don't have to draft him. You don't have to buy him in the first round.
Well, they have the number 11, and then they have 23, and then they don't pick again until the fourth round.
See, and that's even, for me, more reason not to move up for a quarterback. Like, you need more than a quarterback at this point. Use your two first round picks to gain more capital, you know?
Yeah.
Probably put some more depth on the offensive line because your quarterbacks were falling like flies last year.
No, they'll be fine. You know, they'll let a good first round running back get hurt every single year because they decide not to shore up their offensive line. You know.
Well,
Do you think Dan Feeney is related to? You don't think? You don't think, right? All right. Hey, we were talking about good teachers earlier today too.
Sure enough.
Alrighty. Then we got the Broncos sitting at number 12. And this is one that you think, Brock Bowers would go. Well, they need a quarterback, offensive tackle, a cornerback, and then edge. and they pick 12th, and then they get a third round pick and a fourth, 2/5, or 3/5, and 2/6.
There's been spots where Bo Nix has been labeled to go. People have mentioned about their willingness to trade up to where Patrick Surtain would be involved in the trade, which it would blow my mind if they traded that guy to go get any of the guys. Like, unless you're getting one of the top 3 guys, Pat Surtain is going to be a lockdown guy in the league for a long time. It would blow my mind if they moved him for one of the guys other than the top 2 or 3.
I mean, they're clearly going after a quarterback at some point. Might as well do it at 12 or move up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's rolling Stidham out there as their starter week 1. Nobody.
They may be.
Wow.
I mean, that Ben DiNucci may come in, yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to happen. So whether they do it in the first round or the third round, they're going after somebody. And actually now seeing, I forgot how bad their depth chart was there. Yeah, it's going to be a quarterback for them at 12, or they trade up to go get, exactly the quarterback that they want. Or maybe, like Santana was saying, maybe they actually really want Bo Nix. I don't know, but it's got to be a quarterback. I mean,
yeah,
it has to be. There's no other option.
Maybe this will be the team that the Patriots trade with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they get in that third spot, and they can get either one of the
add the depth that they want or something like that. Like,
well, if they bump up to number 3, they could possibly get Drake May should still be there, even though I'm not really high on Drake May.
I'm with you. I want to see his tape.
Like I'm not
Sam Howell's tape.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he just reminds me of Sam Howell.
That's what have been saying.
But
I could be way off base there. But
the rumors I heard though was that Washington wanted Drake May.
It's lion season though too.
It is lion
agree.
season.
I have also heard that normally.
But if they trade up, get the third round, and then Jaden Daniels is still there at third pick, like I don't know.
I mean, it'd be big. It'd be but just looking at this, like Jarrett Stidham is not starting for the Broncos next year. So whether it's through a trade or through the draft, they are addressing that position at some point.
I was about to say, who would they go as a trade wise though? Like, who could they really make a run for that? Because Fields is off the table now, unless the Steelers do want to trade something for him. Or heck, that may be the only reason they got him is to trade him off.
I mean, he would be good trade capital there. I mean,
just like nobody else wants to, do the heck. We'll take him. We'll put him in the bank.
Just deposit a little bit of Fields over here. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, and I have no clue who Jaleel McLaughlin is or Tyler Beatty, but that seems like a position they need to work at. And then Courtland Sutton is he's a beast. He's a true number 1. Josh Reynolds is really good. He probably should not be your number 2. As a Rams fan, I know, and he's awesome. I like Josh Reynolds a lot. He should probably not be your number 2 receiver. He's a very good third option. Once again, if anybody watches this that actually plays in the NFL, I will give you one free punch to my shoulder because you would kill me if you hit me in the face.
Or you are more than welcome to come on and debate us.
There we
Tell us how
go.
wrong we are. Yeah. Josh Reynolds, you want to come on the show? You can debate us.
Yeah. Thank you, Normie. That's so much better and so much better for my physical health. And Marvin Mims Jr. Solid, but just and then I'm sorry, Adam Troutman. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. I've never heard of. He's a 3rd round pick to New Orleans.
Out of Dayton, and good build, fairly decent stats. It's just they've got just an absolute laundry list of things to get done. So it'd be tough for them to give up draft picks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, especially like I said, that it's
And they're
first
still
round.
eating a shit ton of Russell Wilson still too.
Yeah. And especially they only have 1 first round, a 3rd, and then like I said, 4th, 3 5ths, 2 6ths.
Yeah, if they start trying to make a move aggressively to go get a quarterback, then they're going to gamble their future on like a guy that they better hope is ready.
You're telling me you don't know who Mike McGlinchey is?
Did one of y'all say you don't know who Mike McGlinchey is?
No. I'd run down the skill positions.
We didn't know who Adam Troutman was.
He's just a guy.
Yeah.
This guy out there living.
Somebody that you used to know.
I said Stidham's not gonna like they have to aim for quarterback. That there's no way they're going into the season with him as a number 1 and feel confident about it. There's just no way. And I like Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine, but they are piece players at best. Neither one of them even like scratching the heels of Bell Cow back. I have no clue who Jaleel McLaughlin is. Cortland Sutton is a bona fide number 1, 100%. And also I like Tim Patrick. And Philly Dorsett has done some things, but not a ton. Josh Reynolds should not be the next up on that depth chart because he is a 3rd or 4th option. And I like Josh Reynolds, and he's very good. Actually, Cody, who's commenting now, can attest. He did, although he's actually also the one that dropped the pass that would have beat the Niners.
I know I've missed most of the show, but wow, do the Broncos? Yeah.
They just need a lot. They need a lot.
And that's just on offense.
Yeah. Actually, I think their defense is fairly solid.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got the Raiders.
Oh, we can
13.
skip that.
We can skip them?
Yeah, just skip that.
Why are we skipping them?
It doesn't matter. They're the Raiders. They'll fuck it up.
Yeah, this is true. Jaquilla McMillan is certainly, yeah. That is definitely a name. I mean, come on, Aiden O'Connell. I mean, they're stacked.
Of the clan O'Connell.
If Gardner Minshew doesn't end up the starter by
it would shock me if he didn't win the job.
It would blow me away.
Yeah.
And nothing against Aiden O'Connell. He actually played really well for them. Zamir White's really good.
Alexander Madison, he's a solid backup.
Yeah, really good.
Amir Abdul, a good 3rd down back.
Who is Devontae Adams?
Where?
Yeah. Who is Devontae Adams? Who's this guy?
I don't know. Some dude. We can check. I mean, he went to Fresno State, so it's not
Oh, so
a
we
huge
just
school.
disregard him.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was taller than 6'1". He looks it though, doesn't he? On the field, I don't know. Devontae's incredible, of course.
Plays it.
Jacoby Myers is really good.
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah.
Max Crosby is an
yeah.
absolute freak. And they got Christian Wilkins. I forgot about that. Oh, man. They are actually going to be a nightmare for teams. Like, you got one guy who is one of the best outside rushers, and then you got one guy who is, like, one of the best inside. Like, oof. Defensively, as a quarterback, you better buy into that 2.2 second release time, because that's about all you're going to have on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't have anybody, just throw it out of bounds. All right, moving on. We got the Saints picking at 14. Let me pull them up.
I don't think we have to worry too much about the Saints. Also, like, they're probably going to explode. Actually, they've got a great team.
Yeah.
Offensively.
And they still got Cam Jordan. So, well, and they signed Chase Young.
Yeah, if you had told me that the team that got the best of Washington as far as pass rushing trade goes would be the Montez Sweat going to the Bears over Chase Young going to the 49ers, I would have disagreed. I would have been like, no way, Chase Young going to the 49ers is a way better move than Sweat to the Bears. No.
I agree. Yeah. When we were talking about that trade, I was like, man, the Niners made out like bandits. Like, because Chase Young was that dude for so long at Ohio State, and then had a hell of a rookie year. Yeah, and actually, I agree with you, Cody. Like, I was actually sitting here thinking, like, looking at some of these names, they're a little long in the tooth. Lattimore and Matthew,
yeah,
Jordan. Jeez, Louise, it seems like he's been playing football as long as I've been watching it.
But he's still that dude.
He is.
He's that guy.
I mean, he is our age.
Yep. And he's still amazing. So, like, there hasn't been a fall off. He's still year in, year out great. So, why Aaron Donald? Could have gone a few more years.
Who are you talking about?
No one. No one that anyone's gonna remember.
Next up, we got the Colts at 15.
Oh, who cares?
Jonathan Taylor, Trey Sermon, Anthony Richardson coming back off injury, so we can actually see what he can do.
He got injured damn near every game that he played this past year, so he had better find a way to fall better. He needs to go to the same jiu-jitsu and taekwondo classes that Tungafaloa went to, because he needs them.
Mm-hmm.
Watching that helmet just bounce off the turf like that.
Yeah.
I think when you're sitting with a young guy like that, especially somebody who did not stay upright, you are going to be looking to surround him with better weapons or protect him more than what you did last year. But honestly, he was fun to watch when he was on the field. But I just got a feeling like we're going to be looking at that type of situation for a lot of his career.
I hope not for him, because
no shit.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a really good kid, and like he was actually a lot of fun to watch. At Florida, no, like those games were boring, but for like when he was
Some of
doing
them,
explosive stuff at the Colts,
there were some exciting games he was in.
I mean, yeah, he beat Utah single handedly, basically.
Yeah,
First year of Napier's stint, but and he's had moments there, but like I didn't care. But watching him with the Colts, I was like, damn, I didn't realize he would translate like that. I didn't think that he would, honestly.
yeah.
But he did pretty well. He just couldn't stay healthy, and obviously
He's my
That might
biggest
be-
reason that I think that Milroe is going to win the Heisman next year, and then also be a top 10 to 5 to 10 pick.
fair point.
If we're going still on, I'm still on the bold statements, the
Bold statements.
hot takes.
Let's see if
Big,
it pays
strong,
off.
fast, and has a hell of an arm. Does it translate to victory all the time?
I think what I've seen from him at Alabama versus what I saw from Richardson at Florida, that I think that he's a significantly more advanced passer than what Richardson ever was.
I don't even
Yeah.
think it's close.
They are very similar athletically, and I think
I agree with that.
I think Richardson is the
But Richardson did break
better
the combine.
or the. Let Milroe get to the combine. That dude will fucking blow some numbers up.
I was about to say he was. I know at one point he was the fastest player on the team, and he may still be.
He's a hell of an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Santana. Like, I think he is significantly better at passing the ball already. Richardson and Levis both coming out based on their just physical attributes, like not even like combine numbers, just like their build and whatever. I thought it was silly because I think that that should translate to wins. However, I think Patrick Mahomes had a sub 500 record at Texas Tech, and he is chasing the heels of the greatest of all time already. So
Yeah.
they know more than I do.
Chris Mahomes, what pick did he go at?
10.
10? Okay.
And then played a year behind Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, yeah.
And then started the last game because Alex Smith got hurt. And then I believe took over the very next year. And went to the AFC Championship and lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Well, we got through the first 15 or so. But next week, we will be doing our own drafting. We'll divvy that up probably after this stream. You know, like Cunyato said, kind of a snake type of situation that but also pick our teams. Falcons for me, Rams from Cunyato, and the Cowboys for Santana.
I will pick the Cowboys. I will absolutely pick the Cowboys.
I think that they need a kicker.
It's a kicker type of year. I feel like it's a kicker year.
No. It's a long snapper type of year.
Can you draft water boys?
You can. I mean, I think you can draft anybody you want.
I'm gonna give my picks away to charity, and that's just what oil tycoons
the Salvation Army will be ecstatic.
Yeah, everybody gets to pick for the Browns. They seem to probably need some help, but
them or Denver. Well. We've been going a good bit over 2 hours. I think we're gonna hit that old dusty trail. Any final thoughts, Kenyatta?
Nope. I'm excited about to do our mock draft. I think it'll be fun. this time, 7:00 Wednesday next week, because the draft itself is during our regular show time next week.
Mhm.
And that's where you'll see where we do our mock draft. However we do it, which we will decide on how we do it once you guys can't look at us anymore.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Cody says, imagine being an NFL caliber player and getting picked by Make-A-Wish.
That's if I ever like. There's so many things I would do with the genie lamp, but maybe the first one would be like, let me control the Cowboys drafts for the rest of my life. And
You'd
they
get
would
too
all-
competitive. You'd actually make the Cowboys good.
Yeah.
No, I would just draft guys I liked. Like,
Or just
like,
names you like. Like, I don't even know who this guy is, but I like the name. So
you sound Butte? I like Butte. Yeah. Who doesn't love a good Butte? Draft. Also, I have a draft button because I don't know why people in the draft, they're like on the phones or whatever. I don't know. We'll get there.
Or draft bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. You know what?
What our
We could-
show needs more of
bells.
bells.
Fake bells. Like more ding ding dings or more like actual bell noises.
Yeah, you like the ones that you tap at the counter, like if you need assistance.
Hey, so I think that had been our plan. We had talked about that,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So will you be live streaming the actual draft? Yeah.
We don't know exactly how we're going to go about that yet. We haven't discussed it, but it's our plan to at least be on the air and watch the draft together. Maybe all in one location, maybe separate. I don't know.
Well, I know someone who has a pretty empty house right now. So maybe they'll let you.
I don't know why I have to point out my loneliness, but that's fine.
And Will's probably over there like, what the hell? What the hell am I? Am I just a ghost that lives here? Like,
He is one to question his reality, as we all should.
yeah, it's healthy. Therapeutic.
Brought to you by Natty Light.
Yeah. And Hester and Lolly LLC. If you're in the Birmingham area and you need lawn care, a deck, or fencing, call Hester and Lolly LLC.
I like that lawn care was kind of like lawn care.
Well, I know y'all aren't as interested in us. That
I was about to say
part.
that's kind of how we feel about it too. Is like we'll do it. We'll do it.
We're good at it.
Oh,
Might
yeah.
be the thing that we're best at. But
Yeah.
It's, anyways. No, that's it for me. Like, I look forward to seeing all of y'all faithful viewers, and of course you too. And I'm excited about the draft because I think it could get wild this year.
I think so.
It's the last big hoorah before the dead period between now and fall football. Thank God for spring football.
Yeah. But then it ends in June, and then it's like, that's one thing I always loved about the USFL. Like, it was like 4th of July weekend was the championship game. It's like, man, all this stuff going on.
And then you only basically have a month until like football, like whether it be NCAA or the preseason or whatever. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm brushing up on my baseball because them Braves gonna give them hell.
Are they?
Jump
now?
on.
I was about to say, is the Braves gonna give them hell? Is that I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that's what they say.
No.
What?
That was
It's
me.
something I've decided to start saying now.
Hey,
if you start it, the show can start it. I'm behind it.
with our
Braves.
viewer, we can make this catch on.
Yeah. It is for the fan to decide.
It is for the fan to decide.
All right, guys, it's been fun. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell so that you will get notified every time we go live. And yeah, fun show, and we will see y'all next time.
See y'all.
Later.